All right. This is me coming back into it right away. I'm going to pop up. I'm official broadcasting. All right. So, boom. This is my solar cycle stream. Trying to get back into building a habit of posting content. It's content renaissance. So remember, if you're not posting content out there, you're not doing it. I'm just kidding. It's already been written in the story. So whatever you end up doing, you should do it anyway, though. Okay, so with enough of that nonsense, solar cycle stream, every time you come around the sun, you celebrate something. So this is my attempt to kind of start a new pattern, and trying to do something along the lines of like the 365-day push-up challenge. So with that, we're going to go right into the day. I'm currently on day 145 of the push-up challenge. I just want to talk a little bit about what my process has been like. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to just make this a little bit bigger. And then I'm going to go here. Cool. Take off the foo-foo. So I'm going to play this while I just give a little chat. So I'm on day 145. I'm roughly 20 days off from when I first started. So meaning I've fallen off about 20 days. I would create a credit of like, let's say I missed like a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, because usually those are my big work days and I'm really fatigued after those days. So I wouldn't be able to complete the 100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups. After like the first 2 months, I kind of start to fall back. And at which point I would say, okay, well, you know what I'm going to do is first turn down the volume a little bit on this. And I would say, okay, I missed Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I'm going to credit myself and I have to make that up on Sunday, Monday. Sometimes I would make up all 300 on like a Sunday, or maybe 100, an extra, so 200 on a Sunday, and then another 200 or 300, however it played out on like Monday, Tuesday. And I was doing that. I was keeping pretty consistent up until maybe June. And then June, I started to get really just kind of lose momentum on doing it every day and posting the content every day, which was something I had anticipated. I knew that like in this whole project, it's setting a big goal of 365 days, doing 100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups is very ambitious. And it was something I knew I could do, but I knew it was going to be more of a challenge. And that's the whole point of the challenge, right? So a part of this process is like also allowing there to be space for like perceived failures, right? So when we're training, or I'm speaking in the training world, sometimes we set up movement goals and we say, oh, like I'm going to get this certain movement or this certain metric achieved by X date. And usually we're a little bit overzealous and we overshoot the mark. And at which point a lot of people tend to kind of feel dejected and lose drive. And some people just fall off of the task that they set out for themselves, which is totally understandable. So a part of this was to like go through that experience of like, wow, doing 100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups every day unbroken for 365 days is really really challenging, at least for me. So I'm enjoying that so far. I'm about 20 days held back. So I'm gonna try, and I said this before, make up the next 20 days over like maybe 10 days. I was also wondering if maybe I just give myself like a grace period and just be like, you know what, I missed those 20 days. I don't have to make them up to stay time consistent in this whole solar cycle thing, but I'll just say, hey, from here on, I'm going to try and stay consistent with 100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups. And I'm still kind of like mulling over that idea. I'll probably try and make up the 20 some odd days over the next 2 weeks, maybe 100 and 100. And this is me holding myself accountable. And I guess a cool part of this is like making yourself tied in the digital world to yourself, at least. You know, who knows? And I mean, I doubt anyone's going to watch this, but if people do end up watching this, there's like this other witness that's kind of anchoring me into what I'm saying, but more importantly, I'm anchoring myself in, like, I don't know, this even brings up this idea of like tying ourselves to the machine and this human machine union, and what does that mean for our society, and like losing ourselves to other humans, but in return we get this machine that is always watching, which is kind of creepy. But I mean, I guess that's sort of like God. Anyway, that's not really what I was trying to talk about. The point is that now I'm giving myself a space to process and say, okay, I missed a couple of days, I'm going to make it back up, and I'm still going to complete it, and hopefully I get some handstand push-ups by the end of the year, but that's questionable. That would be cool if by maybe December-ish I could be getting 100 handstand push-ups and 100 sit-ups every day. I could see that at least once a week, maybe not every day, but at least once a week. Because I'm also workshopping my traditional handstand push-ups outside of like these 100 push-ups every day. So I'm bringing back in handstand push-ups. It's not like I'm just going to jump right into it cold. Every other day I'm practicing my downward dog push-ups or push-ups from a deficit. And I'd be happy to help anyone out there that's looking for help with their handstand push-ups. That's a part of like what I do. So with that in mind, that is me catching up on my 145-day push-up challenge. So next up, this is professional grade. I'm going to talk about this idea of, and this is, as far as I know, my own kind of thinking term. I haven't heard anyone really talk about this in the world so far. I'm sure it exists, but like I've never heard someone have a phrase coined. So hopefully me putting it out there also, like in some weird way, is like this kind of copyright. Not that I care, but I mean, because a part of it is just to give it out there. So many things have been given to me in this digital world, and I'm not like bound to it. But I like there being a digital trail. I remember hearing this one time about like the poor man's copyright, where it's like, okay, you don't have any money, so what you do is whatever idea or thing that you're working on, you write it all out, you can complete it, and then you put it in the post and you mail it to yourself. And so then the post office acts as the certifier or whatever you would call it, and make whatever you're saying valid. Or it's like, we are the third party that's holding this as like, this actually occurred at this point before everyone else ever said it. So in a way, this is like my digital poor man's hey man, I thought about this idea. So anyway, the idea is kinesthetic esoterica. And for me, moving in my body is the way I process the world primarily. So I've been thinking about the term kinesthetic awareness and just being kinesthetic. So I'm going to pull this up, and it says kinesthetic, and blow it out. It's relating to a person's awareness of the position and movement of the parts of the body by means of sensory organs, proprioceptors in the muscles and joints. I'll just pull up some images. Maybe there's something cool here. I haven't really looked at this. Yeah. And so the way that I'm understanding kinesthetic is like kinesthetic intelligence. And I'm thinking about you and everyone gets a sense of the world through their body. Some people understand the world a little bit more through their body, some people less. But there's the kinesthetic intelligence. There's the body intelligence. There's also, musical intelligence. There's verbal. There's mathematical. There's like the Gardner's. Let's look it up really quickly. Gardner's theories of multiple intelligences. So I'll share this tab. Gardner's theory. I'm so bad at spelling. The theory claims that human beings have different ways in which they process data, each being independent. The 8 types of intelligence described by Gardner include musical, rhythmic, visual, spatial, verbal, linguistic, logical, mathematical, bodily, kinesthetic, interpersonal, and intrapersonal. And what was that last one? Naturalistic. Ooh, cool. So here, let's pull this up. I'm really good with float. Like these kind of charts too help me see the world a little bit better. Was this one? No. Then, oh, let's go back. not this one. That's good. You can see it. Plus. Gee whiz, man. Doesn't want to let me blow that up. Anyway, Gardner's theory of multiple intelligences. Gotta get better at this. And so I think, this is a nice way for people to also kind of think about themselves in a different way. And right now we have like a primary understanding of like intelligence being I read lots of books, or I'm really good at math and I scored X amount on my SAT. So that's where I'm pulling the idea of kinesthetic. Then the other phrase that I'm pairing with it is esoterica, and that's up here. So esoterica is esoteric or highly specialized subjects or publications. And so there's that idea of being hyper aware or hyper specialized in a certain domain. So let me put this back up so I have some visuals, and then I'll pull it back a little bit just because otherwise it's kind of boring just looking at my face. So there's this idea that we have always been we have the human body, and I was wondering, like, maybe 100 years ago, the number of people that could do a handstand, let's say, is not the same number of people that can do a handstand today. And if you go back even like 200 years ago, the number of people I would imagine is less. Then I think, though, also like maybe certain areas of the world, like where gymnastics originates, like Greek, and maybe back then many people were doing handstands, and maybe now we live in a time where less people are doing handstands. But the idea being that over time, the human body can do more amazing, phenomenal things. And if you were to say 100 years ago, oh, someone could do a standing double backflip, people would think, oh, that's impossible. And then let me see if I can pull this up, share this tab, because I'm kind of jumping around a little bit. But there's some, like even this, let's look at this one for a second. This dude does a flip, and I'll pull it up even bigger. So this is from a different angle. Like, that's pretty cool. That's crazy, right? Let's look for something a little bit crazier. He does round off. He times it with another dude. So, I mean, even like how many people were doing this kind of movement 100 years ago? Maybe there were people, but 200 years ago, I think even less. So like the mechanics have changed. This one's pretty cool. This is a father and his daughter. Like, that's, this is also going into the world of like, some people are developing amazing physical intelligence that I think is becoming more esoteric. So some people are becoming really aware of, and let me pull that back actually. How do I get, there we go. Here's another one. This guy's really popular. This is more like the really esoteric, right? If I think about it, he's doing skateboarding while doing some type of Zercher clean. And he has like really kooky stuff. So he's even more esoteric than I am. Like, I have like some esoteric knowledge because I combine my dance and my gymnastics, a little bit of bodybuilding and such. But this dude, 315-pound ollie. Some people might say it's fake, but nah, this guy's definitely legit. Like, I'm pretty sure that's 315 pounds. That's crazy, right? That's crazy. If he does this, I've never seen this one. Let's see what he does. Steps up. No way. Oh, Ollie. No way. Right? No way. Let's see if I can find one more from this guy. That's some silly ass shit. Yeah, at what point is it like this is just nonsense? There's a lot of people that are exploring those boundaries of like this is nonsense or this is pure genius and like physical prowess to like you know, something that we don't see. So anyway, the idea is kinesthetic esoterica, and that's an idea that I'm sending out right now. I have more ideas about it and more points that I want to make about it, but I kind of have to just kind of I keep saying kind of. I have to put this out now so that it's out and then I can kind of ruminate on it, and then I'll have a more fleshed out idea of like how to present this idea. But the idea also being like, okay, so we can do amazing stuff now. What might we be able to do in 50 years or 100 years? This one's really cool. Like, even this, like teaching your child like how to swim. So there's these resources. People record their videos that they're training their children. I have a young daughter who's about to be around this age to start working on swimming and submerging. It's like now I have a reference point to kind of work with, and this person is sharing their kinesthetic intelligence with me. So through this screen, I'm watching him work with his child, and I now have an idea of how I can kind of help my daughter look at this very big skill. When you think about like going underwater, first learning it is, I mean, some people like, yeah, we're born in water or we're in the amniotic sac, and so we're from the water, or we're pond scum, whatever nonsense people say. But the point is that this person is sharing a little bit of their kinesthetic intelligence with me. And so I now have something that I might not have had like 20 years ago. So I'll be able to teach my daughter, my children, some of this stuff even sooner. And then what might that do for them where they have all this kinesthetic intelligence even earlier in life? And what boundaries, speaking of this, like what boundaries will they push? This video even takes me to a whole nother point about like AI generated images and deep fakes. And some would be like, this is fake. And if I didn't have my movement background, I would be kind of prone to think, oh, this is like totally fabricated. But no, I can actually see this occurring. I have some experience with partner balancing, and this is phenomenal that this person is doing this. And so the human potential is being pushed, and I wonder 100 years from now, where will we be combined with the technology that we have? But then I think on the other end too, what are some of us losing? Because it works on both ends. There are some people that are pushing the boundaries and exploring 3D space totally differently. And then there's some people who are getting wrapped up into their bodies, into the screen, into the virtual reality, into their homes, into their isolation tanks. And like this, not the real isolation tanks, but like they're on their screen and they're not interacting. They're not in the 3D world. Like when you see this, you're like, this guy's probably one in like 20 people in the world that can do something like this. He has very esoteric kinesthetic knowledge. And I think we're going to be in dire need of these kind of people 10, 20 years from now. Because the people who understand how to move the body in very unique and expressive ways is, in some sense, it feels like it's going away. And with like the advent of like all of this digital stuff, we can share it. So this guy, he can share his knowledge with me through the screen so more people can be reached. But I think, how do we get these people to physically move their bodies more is the question. I think more people are actually trending towards obesity and lack of movement. So that's my little spiel about kinesthetic esoterica. And my third point for the solar cycle stream is media analysis. So I was like, I'm always looking at all this Instagram and saving tons of videos that I find inspiring, like this one. So let's see, can I go back? So I thought maybe that can be a component of what I share. This one I'm gonna just show really quick. This guy, Human Garage, has tons of really interesting research and ideas. So I hope to do more of like an analysis on his work and share some of the stuff that he's talking about, because he's like has a lot more language and research to kind of express what I'm experiencing. So Human Garage, if you want to check him out on Instagram. Let's see. Yeah, like this one. This one's totally kooky. What? Nonsense. Right? Is that really happening? Acrobats, Chinese acrobats are actually really, really dedicated. And I feel like I should do more research, but like if the government is willing to sponsor certain people for, like I think that their program is they'll kind of look for kids at a very young age and pull them into their training camps and harness their skills on a larger scale than like in the United States. I'm sure there are like programs that are scouting for young children that have Olympian level talent, but I feel like China and these other countries like Russia and stuff have more of a program and stuff. This one's cool. I like this. I'm not a swimmer, but I do a little bit. I teach CrossFit, and I'm thinking about the beat swing, but this is just for swimming. It's like even doing that kind of dolphin kick underwater is really impressive. I just learned that within the past few years, how to do this dolphin kind of kick. So here, this person is sharing a little tip, and you too could develop your dolphin kick in that whole world of swimming that I was just kind of talking about. This one's crazy. Are you kidding me? Over the past few years, there's been a lot of fatalities in these performances, and so I totally understand like why they have harnesses on. But look at this. Even though they have harnesses on, like, are you kidding me? That's insane. Is it real? Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's real. But even that, like, this group of people are doing this movement, this chair, but like, I don't think people can really appreciate how gnarly this is. Right? There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 people. It's like, how many people can even just go upside down for more than like 5 seconds? And then we have like this like spacey kind of like physical expression. I'm not sure if anyone's seen these. These are kind of popular. They'll show somewhere in Africa, looks like the coast of somewhere. These kids, these people, man, they're jumping super high and into water that looks like it's like a puddle. I'll show this one more time. This is not deep. He does some type of belly flop and then lands. Again, like, is this real? Like, some people are gonna be like, all this is fake. And it's like, if you don't move your body, you're gonna think even more like this is all fake. Let's look at this one. Dude, this makes me think of street tumblers in like New York. Growing up, I never did street tumbling because I'm too much of a softie to be pounding on the concrete. But I remember like my coaches saying like street tumblers are really impressive people, but it beats their bodies up. But here we got this this kid. You know, oh, this is a picture. Oh, belly flop. What? Crazy. So it's like, you know, what do you do with your spare time if, like, you know, there's, I'd imagine that this is one of the big things, you know, to express yourself, to see how daring and find your human spirit. It makes me think of the kids that'll be on the dirt bikes or the ATVs in like droves, popping wheelies, going crazy down the highway. It's like, this is the way that we express our vitality now. And sometimes we see it as a menace or a nuisance, but I think it's what we have to kind of express our human spirit in a way. Not everyone, you know, I was thinking about, I was like, I'm very fortunate that I had people invest in me and my dance and gymnastics, and not everyone has that. And like, who am I to knock someone for expressing themselves that way with what they have? You know, it's like the human spirit will look for ways to express itself. This one's really cool. Some VR. I posted this on my Instagram a couple weeks ago. It's like, all right, cool. Now we're gonna fight each other in the VR world. So many thoughts about this. It's like, these people are legitimately, I would imagine they're like good Taekwondo practitioners, but then we're blending that with like this VR extended human experience. What does it say? It's like, this is Ready Player One. Get ready, man. Good way to test and see if like the sensors are responsive enough, fast enough. You put high level people in and you see how the equipment responds, and then if it kind of works for them, it's like, oh, okay, it's gonna work for the plebes. This one's really funny. I'll do like one or two more and then I'll call it. But oh my god, like, yo, that little shuffle he does is really cool. I like it. He's so pumped. He's like, everyone, you know, delusional. Like, you have to be delusional to think anyone's gonna catch you. And like, look at the crowd. Like, didn't even read the crowd. It's like, that's not even the crowd that would want to catch you. They're enjoying. He's so hyped. And then, you know, like another thing, it's like, this is how we get to express ourselves. And I just imagine if he had more, I don't know, maybe he did. Maybe he had a lot of opportunities to perform and express himself when he was younger. But it's like, that's like a body that like is hungry to express itself, and like, here it is, and it's like, now's my time to shine, motherfucker. And like, yeah, boy, I got this. So pumped, and then like just going with like the flow state. It's like, no, man, you're well over 200 pounds, and it's like a bunch of just like normal people that probably don't even move. I don't know anything about that, but yeah, it's so funny. It's such a funny one. Funny videos. This one's pretty cool. I like this one, and maybe I think there's. Let me turn this on. Is there volume? No. All right, I'll figure it out another time. But anyway, there's one guy puppeteering the head, and then I think there's two other people. One in the front, moving the front shoulders and the head. And then I'm pretty sure there's someone in the back that's moving the tail and the hind legs. And like, it does like this cat roar. I think the guy who's moving the head is doing like all the verbal, the audible stuff. Like, another way of like blending. Like, these are three people that are moving in a certain harmony that I don't know how many people in our world get to experience that. Like, to move with two other people in synchronicity, and like, they're creating this experience for the audience that like is just really, really cool, you know. And it's like three people kind of and this is not really the best way to say it, but like they're kind of subduing their egos and having this moment where they harmonize and they create this one unified experience, this unified thing that like is really beautiful when you get to have that kind of collective experience. Having performed a lot, it's like one of the things I kind of miss. I miss performing with people and kind of dissolving who I am as JFK Beta and creating something totally unique. Not even like this idea of the egregore. In a way, it's like that egregore that I'm working on expressing. I mean, that's not my idea, but they're creating this being right now, temporary. All right, let's see. Maybe I'll pick 2 more. I mean, this is just another this is another kinesthetic esoterica, like just the personal therapy information that's being shared out there is just phenomenal. It's like if you just know how to look or what you're looking for, you can find so many tips and tools on like keeping your body in good shape. And maybe 20 years ago, I'd have to pay lots of money to go to physical therapy school and to like find these exercises, but it's like, you have to have some education, but it's like you could kind of discover a lot of ideas within your domain and kind of work and maybe create your own kind of particular blend of things that informs the field even more. But anyone like dancers or swimmers or baseball people can be like look at this and be like, oh, here's this great drill for my what does it say? Something about the rotator cuff, I think. And here I can do some preventative exercises. So I think that was good. I'm trying to see if there's anything else. This one's nice. We'll do like 1 or 2 more. I like this. This is, this bigger dude. It's like, yeah, we'll help you up. And there's something too about that, like, hands being put on someone and like, we're not going to hide from your fat. We're going to put our hands on your fat and like exposure therapy. It's like, here you are exposed and I'm like, all right, let's do a fucking pull up. All right. Like, who cares if you're fat and you have like this gyno? It's like, get to fucking work and do a freaking pull up. Right. No one cares anymore. No one cares if you're fat. Like everyone's too busy worrying about themselves. So do your pull-ups, do your push-ups, right? Oh, that's great. It brings it back to like the whole 145-day push-ups and pull-ups. Is there anything else I want to do? Call to adventure. All right, let's see if there's anything else I can pull up while I kind of just riff. I'll pull up this stuff. This is kind of just what I've done before, right? Share it. I have to share this. This is from day 62 onward. So this is a couple months ago. What's even nice, I have to switch this around. I'm tired of sitting in this freaking chair. What's nice about this is it also holds memories for me in a way, because I get to like recall, oh, this is when I worked with Becca, the Irish horse, and that was a great day that we did the push-ups and sit-ups together. And then the visual imagery that I'm using too is nice as a way of I think I can store memories and ideas and images. Like right now nothing's coming to me, but like when I see some of these images, I'm like, oh yes, I remember this, and a certain emotion happened during that day, or a certain thing helped me that helped came up. That's why I said helped. We're always there's so many things that are being impressed upon us and we don't even realize. We're constantly being brainwashed. I'm constantly being brainwashed. I'm like, how many of these thoughts are mine and how many of it are like packaged for me already? And like, I'm just kind of being the vessel that like is like, oh, now you want the Oreo cookie, right? Call to adventure. All right, so I am calling you to join me on the 30-day push-up, 30-day sit-up challenge, however you find your way into it, whether that's 10 a day of each, and then you work up over 30 days. And then you're like, you know what? I'm really into this. I've only done 10 push-ups, 10 sit-ups every day. That's more than I was doing previously. Let me go for 20. Like, it's just, sometimes when I work with people, I imagine that And I'll bring this up because this is what I said recently. I said, let me help you. And that comes up, yeah. Yep. So this is me holding myself to account. Like, we'll resume the content. Cycles around the sun. This is my, like, every Thursday when I'm at the gym. Dean CrossFit, shout out. Always appreciated all the people there, all the intelligent movers. Every Thursday when I get there, I'm doing 100 reps. So 10 sets of 10 of my back squat. And that's at 185. So yeah, get swole. Let me help you help yourself. I'm always looking for students. And currently, one of the other movers, Don't You Dare Command Me, and I, are doing a community bodybuilding class that's open to anyone of all levels for free every Friday at 845 Dean Street. And just intro to like beginner bodybuilding, and we call it Get Free Bodybuilding. So it's anyone's welcome, and it's just like a nice way to be in a gym. And if you have no gym culture experience or gym, if you're intimidated by going into a gym, please come in and see what it's all about. But I'm also just looking for regular students. If you want to have any questions, reach out. I'm always happy just to be like chatting with someone. And a part of this is too, I'd love to like just talk about movement ideas with people who are like beginner, more advanced, whatever. And I'm working on that with other creators. I want to actually set dates, but the call to adventure is get to your push-ups and your sit-ups every day, however you can get to it. And I like it. I think this is a good stream. It's me getting back into it. I'll streamline this, and what I'm gonna start to develop is this kinesthetic esoterica in greater detail. Even the idea that certain arts and certain movement practices are linked to high society, and that anyone could kind of find their way into high society through movement. And you might come from lower means or whatever, lower economic status. And it's like, but you can do a certain thing. You can play a certain instrument. That could be a doorway for you to get into high society and have different experiences. I mean, that's a part of like this kinesthetic esoterica. It's like, this is going to be much sought after. I see people out in public. I see the way they move. And in some ways we're in big trouble. We're in big trouble because lots of people don't understand how to move through space efficiently, how to express themselves with their bodies, how to express joy or to express anger in healthy ways. And so normal ways of being are becoming esoteric. We are losing how to be human in a lot of ways. And in a lot of ways we're gaining a lot, but I think there's a lot in our movement history that we don't know and might be hidden from us. I remember I had one dance teacher who said that our shoulder blades were from a time when we had wings and we were angels and we could fly. And like, whatever, like, all right, John, that's like super woo woo or hippy dippy. But I mean, like, even that idea, it's like, oh, that makes a lot, you could see something there, right? Or at least that the shoulder blades, there's more to them, and we don't even understand that these like things can move, and then the arms are like the extension, the hands are the extension. So just remember, beta today, better tomorrow. And I'm going to be posting more often, all right? So I'm going to be trying to do at least a live stream at one point. So stay with it. Get swole.